So have you asked yourself the question, are you willing to lead? Hopefully you've asked yourself that question. But I want to go into my first point here. And this is probably the most important point for you to remember. And if you don't remember any other of these 12 points, I want you to remember this one because it's so important. You may have even heard me talk about this before because I bring it up a lot because I think it's a big deal. And it's be a servant leader. Be a servant leader. Now, I don't know if you know what that means, and I want to explain it to you a little bit. Because there are a lot of people out there who lead without being servant leaders, and they are not as successful. And so being a servant leader, it's a timeless concept. I want to read you something from Robert K. Greenleaf, and he coined the term servant leadership, but it's been around. Servant leadership's been around forever. This was in his book, The Servant as a Leader. It was first published back in 1970. And he says, the servant leader is servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different from the one who is a leader first, perhaps because of the need to assuage an unusual power drive or to acquire material possessions. The leader first and the servant first are two extreme types. Between them, there are shadings and blendings that are part of the infinite variety of human nature. The difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servant first to make sure that other people's highest priority needs are being served. The best test and difficult to administer is, do those served grow as persons? Do they, while being served, become healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous, more likely themselves to become servants? And what is the effect on the least privileged in society? Will they benefit or at least not be further deprived? And so that really nails it down right there. A servant leader is a servant first. Okay? They served first. That was the first thing they did. This person is sharply different from the leader first. Okay? Perhaps because of the need to assuage an unusual power drive or to acquire material possessions. Now, I know there's nobody like that in this class because you guys are all great people. But have you ever met anybody like that you feel like they want to lead just because they want to boss people around? That you feel like they want to lead because they are just wanting this power, or they want material possessions. They want to make more and more money, so they want to be the leader so that they can make the most money and gather as much material possessions as possible. A servant leader focuses primarily on the growth and the well-being of others. Focuses primarily on the growth and the well-being of others. If you're a servant leader, you should be going around and saying in a group, hey, what can I do for you? What can I do for you to make you better, to make you more successful? Because when you're more successful, our group is more successful, and I'm more successful as a leader. But it starts with me being helpful to you, me being a servant to you. And that's what being a servant leader is all about. Serving first. So many people, when they go into a group and they say, well, I want to be the leader of this group. I'm going to lead this group. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And I'm going to check up on you in a week or two. And then they come back in a week or two and they say, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? That's not being a servant leader. That's just being that person that wants to assuage power. They want to be powerful. And so the servant leader, being different, is primarily focused on the growth and the well-being of others. So throughout that 2 weeks, they're probably going to them and saying, how you doing? Are you able to get that done? Do you need some help? What can I do to help you be successful? I see this in a lot of the groups that we have here in school. And somebody will come to me and say, well, this person isn't pulling their weight. They're just not doing a good job. And the first question I ask them is, what have you done for them? Have you asked them what you can do to help them be successful? Have you asked them that? And usually the answer to that question is no. Unfortunately, the answer to that question is usually no. Because they're not being a servant first. They are being a leader first. And that's great. You're a leader. But lead in the right way. Lead as a servant. This will be the most important leadership concept that you ever understand. And if you can put it into practice, it is going to change your future career. It is going to elevate how high you can go in your career. It is going to make you so successful. But it's a different way of thinking than most people think. It's flipping leadership on its head. It's saying to be the best leader, you have to be the best servant. You have to do the most for the people that you're leading. So I want to encourage you today, and I'm going to break after this one to a new video, because I want to encourage you today to think about this. Stop the video and think about this. Maybe write down a couple of things about how you can be a servant to someone else. Maybe in a group that you're in right now. Maybe in a future group that you're in. Maybe at work. Maybe you are already working and you are leading. How can you serve? This is a great question for you to ask. And so, like I said, take a minute, think about it, and then move on to the next video.